Hello, happy Thursday. How are you feeling today as we approach another weekend? And we can all create some little bubbles this weekend. Interesting opportunity to meet up with a loved one if you are a single parent or a single person. An opportunity for some more connection. I look forward to putting that into place. So it's a bit windy today. I hope you can hear me okay. If the wind is disturbing the sound and you can't hear me, just let me know and I'll stop and record it again when I get home. Vehicle approaching. So, do you notice anything different about me today? I'm a little later today because I've been doing some grooming. I've trimmed my beard for the first time since lockdown, on the advice of a female friend. And it was interesting for me because I've never trimmed a beard before. And I noticed two things. The first thing was, I noticed some grief. The beard was part of me. It is part of me. And I've been growing it for, 3 months? So there's a little bit of sadness as the beard was being cut away. Which is interesting, because it's just hair. I wonder, do you ever feel grief when you have a haircut? I don't know, never felt that before. And the other thing I noticed was that it reminded me of my late dad, because when I was young, he had a beard, and I remembered him trimming his beard in his bathroom. It was a kind of ritual, and I'd forgotten about it, but it's just one of those little things, little reminders that took me right back to childhood. Powerful images, and the emotions that come around with that as well. So, exactly 1 week ago, I invited you to do a holistic wellbeing checkup and asked you 7 questions to have a little review of how you're treating yourself and others, but mostly yourself, and give yourself a score out of 10 for these 7 different categories. And I said, I'll check back in on you in 1 week's time, and if there are any areas that you felt you'd like to do better in, we'd see how you were 7 days on. So here we are, 1 week on. Doesn't time fly? Blow my neck. So I'll just quickly review the categories, and if you were here a week ago and you saw my walk and talk then, maybe you gave yourself a score, maybe you wrote it down, or maybe it's in your head. And if you didn't, no problem, just try it today. I invite you to give yourself a score and just focus on not beating yourself up, but just noticing where you're doing well, good, carry on, and where there might be some room for improvement. And it's just something to focus on. It's always good to have a awareness of what we're doing well. We can pat ourselves on the back for that. And also awareness of where we can be kinder to ourselves and those around us. So, the categories are, and if you're ready, you might want to get a pen and paper in case you want to keep tabs on this over the coming weeks. Maybe you could make it your Thursday ritual. So, here we are then, 7 categories for self-care. How kind are you treating yourself? So the first one is, how are you talking to yourself? Your inner monologue. Or maybe your outer monologue if you talk to yourself like I do sometimes. How are you talking to yourself? Are you beating yourself up, calling yourself stupid, castigating yourself for any mistakes that you might make? Mistakes? You make mistakes? My God, are you human? So my invitation to you is to talk to yourself like you would your best friend. If your best friend came to you with a problem or was beating themselves up, what would you say to them? I imagine you'd be very kind and compassionate. So if you're doing that to yourself, you can give yourself a 10. So just notice. Have some compassion for any mistakes you make and celebrate your successes as well. Some of us are not very good at accepting compliments, but maybe we can compliment ourselves. Well done, you did well there. You finished that job. You dealt with that parenting issue really well. So that's the first category. Give yourself a score out of 10. I've done it again. I've got too many clothes on. It always looks colder than it is. Oh, blimey. Oh. Okay, category 2. Sleep and rest. How are you doing in getting yourself off to bed at a sensible time? Making sure you've got enough sleep and just taking a rest when you are tired, exhausted, overwhelmed. So there's various studies saying how much sleep we need. I think everyone's different, but I think for most adults 7 hours, maybe 8 hours is good. But I think you'll know yourself if you wake up tired, if you get tired partway through the day, if you're absolutely exhausted by the end of the day, maybe you're not getting enough sleep and enough rest. You'll know. Ask yourself honestly. So that's that one. How are you doing? Giving yourself sleep and rest. Category 3 is consumption. Not the Victorian disease, but what you are putting into your body. By which I mean food. Quantity and quality thereof. Too much sugar, too much fat, too much food, full stop. Or you're getting lots of veggies, lots of greens, fresh fruit, and eating a moderate amount. Are you like me, addicted to Saurine banana loaf? Water, are you getting enough water? 2 litres a day, they say. And it doesn't count if you're having caffeinated tea, because that's actually a diuretic, which means it takes water out of your body. Same with alcohol. How's your alcohol consumption? I'm not going to judge you here. You can judge yourself if you like. So yeah, quantity and quality. Give yourself a score for your consumption. Next one is your body. Are you moving your body? Are you getting exercise by walking up a hill whilst trying to talk into a phone? Are you dancing? That's one of my commitments to myself from last week. I've been doing more dancing, that's good. Are you playing? Are you doing some yoga, some flexibility exercises? Are you getting someone to give you a massage? Are you moving your body and looking after it in the way that we all know we should? It's very hard to keep up these good habits all the time, but just take a review of the past week. Give yourself a score out of 10. Lovely. Okay, so what's the next one? Creativity. Are you expressing yourself artistically in some way? Are you allowing ideas to flow and be expressed through music or art or dance or photography or whatever it is that floats your boat? We're all creative. Are you expressing your creativity, and are you sharing it with others? Or are you hiding your light under a bushel like I used to do a lot? Ooh, a bit windy. Hope you can hear me okay. If you can't, somebody just send me a message and I'll carry on later. So that's creativity. 2 more categories. Number 6 is real relationships. And here I'm talking about relationships of depth, where you are able to be yourself and show yourself, communicate honestly, authentically, showing your vulnerability and getting that back in return from the other party or parties. Have you got a little village of people that you can be yourself with without judgment? Active listening and talking about what's really going on. What's really going on? Not the weather, not the football, not the extension you have into your conservatory. The real stuff. Meaning. And finally, for this holistic wellbeing self-care 7 days on checkup, are you telling others how you really feel about them? Or are you saving it for their wedding day or their funeral? Why not tell your loved ones, tell your friends, tell your neighbours, tell your school teachers, tell whoever it is that's important in your life, that's making a difference in your life, what difference they are making in your life. Show some gratitude and appreciation. Tell them you love them, tell them you appreciate them. How are you doing with that? Give yourself a score out of 10. So that's it. Last week I reviewed my scores and I think I had a couple of 6s, 1 8 and the rest were 7s. And I reckon I've been doing pretty well with most of those, banana loaf notwithstanding. Okay, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to follow up slightly on what I was saying yesterday about meaning. What's life all about? Is it about short-term happiness? Or is it about meaning? And Joe Bartholomew commented on that post yesterday and left a very interesting 12-minute video of Emmy van Deurzen, who is an existential psychotherapist. I recommend you watching that. If you've got 12 minutes, I reckon that would be a good use of finding meaning in 12 minutes of your life today. And to summarise some of what she was saying, she said we're all the authors of our own meaning. And we can create meaning and purpose in our lives through how we are in the world. How we are in relationship, the energy we give out. She gave the example of dogs. You know, someone's walking along, they've got a dog with them. We can ignore the dog, we can be scared of the dog, run away from the dog, or we can stroke it, pass on some positive energy, and the dog will respond. And this flows, it's like a virus, a positive virus. But if we show our anger and our resentment, that flows as well, like a negative virus. So we create ourselves in the world, we create our own meaning in the world. And the one thing that I was a little bit unsure of, or possibly in disagreement with, was about anger. And I think I was taught, I kind of learnt unconsciously when I was young that anger is bad. You've got to repress anger. Even though I was subjected to a lot of anger from my dad, I couldn't be angry back. So I repressed my anger, and it has leaked out into other areas of my life as an adult, very unfairly to the people who are on the receiving end of that anger. So I see that as bad anger, but I think anger also has a positive purpose. It can be initiatory. So that means it can be the start, it can be the spark of some positive change. And I think that's what Emmy van Deurzen was saying about transforming the energy from something negative to something positive. And lost my thread a bit. Yeah, so anger can be initiatory. I don't think it's transformative energy. I don't think anger can transform something negative into something positive, but I do feel it can be the spark that creates positive change. And I replied to Joe's video with a comment about the Black Lives Matter movement and things like Extinction Rebellion and other groups that are trying to overcome oppression and find some fairness and responsibility and equity in the world. And without anger, without revolution, how do we bring about positive change when there are societal systems stopping that from happening because they're protecting their interests? The wealthy few. I think it's the 28 richest people in the world, 28 billionaires, own the same as the poorest 50% of people in the world. How is that fair? And those 28 people and various others that serve them are dictating how the world works. And how do we change that when we are disempowered? Do we need anger? Do we need revolution? Do we need violent protests? I don't have the answer to this, I'm just putting it out there, and I just wonder from a personal perspective, how do you see anger? Do you see it as something useful, or is it just always negative? Don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm just, like I said the other day, I'm a wisdom magpie, and I'm learning every day, and I'm changing every day, and I'm interested in a dialogue about this, and trying to come to some greater awareness of my own anger and how I can use it for good, rather than pushing it away or just trying to be a pacifist. Somebody told me the other day that they don't have the luxury of being a pacifist because they are oppressed. This is somebody in Nepal. So, yeah, I think that's all for today. If you are around at 8 p.m, please do tune in to my discussion with Sam Ward, who's going to be talking about living with bipolar disorder. I imagine it's going to be very interesting. I'm interested to learn more. I'm interested to connect with Sam again, and perhaps you'll be interested too. And if you're busy, maybe watch it back another time. So let me know. Good morning, Jackie. And good morning, Sam, and Nathan, and everybody else who's watching. Let me know if you have any thoughts about what I've said today. And with the wellbeing checkup as well as the anger stuff, feel free to share how you're doing, or keep it to yourself and just notice, like I say, don't beat yourself up for what you haven't done. Celebrate what you have done well, and maybe set yourself some goals for the week ahead around areas that you're aware there's room for improvement in. So be gentle to yourself. Stroke some dogs. Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you to stroke dogs. The owners might say, don't touch my dog, you might give it coronavirus. Show some love to dogs, and show some love to the fellow humans around you, and to yourself. Be compassionate, be kind. That's all. I shall see you at 8 p.m. Take care, have a good Thursday. Bye.